You're flying unassisted over a city, or living an entire life where your childhood home has an extra floor. The rules of gravity and time bend perfectly to your will. Then you snap awake. Within 30 seconds of opening your eyes, that entire vivid universe evaporates. No matter how hard you try to hold on to the details, the narrative slips away, leaving you with nothing but a vague, frustrating feeling that you were just somewhere else. Classical neuroscience has a practical explanation for this. In this view, the sleeping brain is essentially defragmenting a hard drive, running random neurological simulations to consolidate your waking memories while actively pruning away useless data. But an emerging, rigorous discipline connecting theoretical cosmology with quantum biology suggests this mechanical explanation lacks the full picture. What if the malleable physics of your dreamscapes and the profound amnesia that immediately follows are the exact physical mechanisms required by the human body to temporarily access alternate universes? To understand how a sleeping brain could traverse realities, we have to look at the orchestrated objective reduction, or ORCH-OR theory. This model defines human consciousness as a quantum mechanical process rather than a classical electrical one. Deep inside our neurons are microscopic cylindrical protein structures called microtubules. Inside these tubes are tiny water-repelling hydrophobic pockets. According to ORCH-OR, these pockets shield fragile quantum data from the chaotic environment of the brain, allowing them to function as biological qubits, the basic units of quantum information capable of existing in multiple states at once. In 2024 and 2025, laboratory experiments demonstrated that these microtubule structures actually achieve quantum coherence and superradiance at room temperature. Superradiance is a phenomenon where a group of atoms emits synchronized bursts of light due to their shared quantum state. This proved the brain is capable of sustaining quantum mechanics. We also now know exactly how we go to sleep during surgery. Common inhalational anesthetic gases universally turn off human consciousness specifically by binding to these hydrophobic pockets and dampening their quantum optical effects. Artificial quantum computers built in labs require extreme artificial isolation, like vacuum chambers cooled to near absolute zero, to prevent their quantum wave functions from collapsing under environmental noise. The human body naturally simulates this extreme isolation every night during REM sleep. It begins with muscle atonia, a state of total physical paralysis that prevents you from moving. At the same time, your deep brain structures uncouple from your autonomic rhythms, like your breathing. Your thalamus acts as a sensory gate, completely blocking out external data from the physical room around you. By completely severing all ties with the outside environment, the paralyzed sleeping brain transforms into a highly isolated biological quantum annealer, a type of processor that solves complex optimization problems by evaluating all possible solutions simultaneously. In this state, the brain can sustain uncollapsed quantum superpositions for extended periods. The many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics states that every time a quantum system interacts with its environment, every possible outcome occurs in physically real, parallel branching universes. This timeline shows how the isolated, dreaming brain enters a state of cognitive superposition. Free from the constant sensory input that forces reality to collapse into a single state, your mind evaluates multiple probabilistic timelines simultaneously. If you experience déjà rêvé, or dream of an alternate life path where you made a different career choice, your uncollapsed brain is bleeding over into highly proximal, nearly identical branches of the multiverse. Dreams featuring malleable physics, like unassisted flying or breathing underwater, map directly onto level 2 bubble universes. These are regions where the fundamental physical constants form differently after the Big Bang, allowing for rules of gravity and density that are impossible in our own. Standard quantum mechanics poses a mathematical barrier to this. It dictates that once the universal wave function branches, those resulting parallel universes are completely and permanently sealed off from one another. But in 2026, the Violaris protocol proved a mathematical loophole. This research demonstrated that interbranch communication is possible entirely within standard quantum theory, but only under one absolute, inescapable condition. Information can only cross between universes if the sender's memory of the event is entirely and permanently destroyed. This maps onto the logic of the delayed choice quantum eraser, an experiment demonstrating that quantum interference only occurs if definitive knowledge of a particle's path is obliterated before an observer can access it. This explains why your hippocampus downregulates during REM sleep. The rapid amnesia you experience upon waking is an active, mandatory physical mechanism. Your brain deploys a literal biological quantum eraser, destroying the memory of the alternate branch to preserve the laws of physics and prevent reality-breaking paradoxes. When your alarm clock rings, the multiverse traverse comes to a violent end. The sudden influx of waking sensory data hits your nervous system, causing immediate quantum decoherence and collapsing your brain back into a single, classical timeline. While this framework relies on newly validated biological experiments and mathematically sound protocols, the direct observation of parallel universes remains a bleeding-edge, unproven hypothesis. This paradigm reframes the entire human lifespan. We spend a third of our existence in an active, highly isolated state of interaction with the underlying probability architecture of the cosmos, far exceeding the requirements of simple memory sorting. If consciousness shapes reality, the hard, solid stuff of your waking life is simply a state of constant, rapid sensory collapse. The fluid, bizarre world of your dreams, stripped of that physical noise, is the only direct interface you have with the infinite, uncollapsed multiverse.